If you're a home care agency owner and you're still personally handling recruiting, I want to share a number with you. The average agency owner spends around 20 hours a week on recruiting tasks. At a conservative opportunity cost of $75 an hour, that's $78,000 a year in lost strategic work. I'm Jeff, CRO and co-founder of ClearDesk. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what a recruiter virtual assistant is, what they can handle for your agency, and how to know if the setup is actually working. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of whether this is the right move for where your agency is right now. Let's start with what a recruiter VA actually does, because there's a lot of confusion about this. A recruiter virtual assistant is a remote professional who specializes in managing your entire caregiver hiring pipeline, not general admin work, not scheduling, recruiting specifically. They handle job postings across multiple platforms, active candidate sourcing, initial phone screenings, interview coordination, applicant tracking system management, reference check coordination, and pipeline reporting. That covers roughly 80 to 90% of the administrative work involved in hiring a caregiver. What you're left with is the part that actually requires your judgment, final interviews, and hiring decisions. Everything else moves without you touching it. Now, the question I hear most often is whether a VA can really understand the home care space. And the honest answer is that it depends entirely on who placed them and how they were trained. A general virtual assistant who has never worked in home care is going to struggle with caregiver-specific requirements, understanding certifications, knowing what compliance red flags look like, and representing your agency the right way to candidates who might be interviewing at 3 other agencies at the same time. What you want is a VA who has been specifically trained on home care recruiting, someone who understands EVV, who knows what a CNA certification means, who can ask the right screening questions and recognize a weak answer when they hear one. That kind of specialization is what separates a recruiter VA who transforms your operation from one who just adds a layer of confusion. One full-time recruiter VA can typically manage 20 to 30 active applications at any given time. They can conduct 10 to 15 phone screens a week and coordinate 8 to 12 in-person interviews. For most agencies, that pipeline supports hiring 8 to 15 caregivers a month. The bigger impact isn't the volume, it's the consistency. No more feast or famine cycles where you scramble to hire 5 people at once because you let the pipeline go cold for 6 weeks. Let's talk about cost, because this is where the math gets clear very quickly. A full-time recruiter in the US runs between $50,000 and $80,000 a year before you add benefits, payroll taxes, and overhead. You're realistically looking at $70,000 to $100,000 all in. And a recruiter VA through a managed staffing partner costs $25,000 to $37,000 a year with no additional overhead. That's a 60 to 70% reduction in recruiting costs. And unlike a salaried employee, you can scale hours up during high growth periods and back down during slower ones. I want to make a distinction here that matters a lot in practice. There's a difference between hiring a freelance VA and working with a managed staffing partner. With a freelancer, you are the HR department. You find them, vet them, train them, manage them, and replace them if something goes wrong. If they disappear and it happens, you start from scratch. With a managed partner, the vetting, training, and ongoing support are handled for you. If the placement isn't working, you get a replacement, typically within 1 to 2 weeks, without losing your pipeline momentum. The agencies we see get the most out of this model are the ones who go in with clear expectations. Document your hiring standards before day 1. Define exactly which tasks the VA owns, what a qualified candidate looks like for your agency, and what the escalation process is when something unexpected comes up. The single biggest reason recruiter VA arrangements fail is not the VA. It's the agency going in without documented processes and expecting the VA to figure it out. On results, here's what the data shows. Agencies using dedicated recruiter VAs report a 25 to 40% improvement in time to fill. Owner recruiting time typically drops from 15 to 20 hours a week down to 3 to 5 hours. And because pre-screening is more consistent, Caregiver retention improves by around 25%, which matters because replacing a single caregiver costs an average of $2,600. Most agencies see positive ROI within 60 to 90 days. When you factor in time savings, faster hiring, and reduced turnover, the typical return runs between 200 and 400% in the first year. At ClearDesk, every candidate we place goes through our talent assurance protocol. Our acceptance rate is 0.5%, meaning out of every 200 applicants, one person makes it through. The VAs we place in home care roles are pre-trained on the recruiting workflows specific to this industry. They're not learning your space on your time. So here's where I'd leave you. If you're spending more than 10 hours a week on recruiting right now, the question isn't whether a recruiter VA would save you time. It would. The question is whether you have the processes documented to set one up for success. If you do, or if you're ready to build them, this is one of the highest leverage moves you can make for your agency right now. If you want to talk through what that looks like specifically for your agency size and hiring volume, the link to book a call with our team is in the description. We'll walk you through exactly what a recruiter VA engagement would look like for your operation and what the onboarding timeline would be. Thanks for watching. I'm Jeff, and we look forward to helping you scale your agency.